Can Cooper Flagg handle the hype and deliver a title to DC? And is VJ Edgecombe underrated? Come on now. We're going to answer those questions and more next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Brandon Scott, a.k.a. BScott, and my guy, Abdullah, a.k.a. AB. Both of us are credentialed members of the NBA media and your host of Locked On Wizards. And today we got a special guest, my guy, Jay Hip, man. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, my brother, anytime, man. So like I said, tonight, we're going to talk about the draft. You know, the NBA regular season is winding down, and obviously we are not a playoff team, so all eyes are on the draft, and we're going to talk about a lot tonight. First of all, can Cooper Flagg handle the hype and deliver a title to DC? And VJ Edgecombe, is he a sleeper? Is he underrated? And Asa Newell, could he be a sleeper in the later stages of the first round? Lots to talk about. Questions. So let's get into it, man. First of all, on the agenda tonight, gentlemen, can Cooper Flagg handle the hype and deliver a title to DC? So we're going to start with the guest tonight. Jay Hitt, what do you think, man?
I think he can. From what I've seen from Cooper Flagg this season, especially the most important part of this season, the NCAA tournament, I think he can. What he's shown, he's a dog. I mean, not just offensively, but defensively too. This guy is everything. When I watch him, it's like watching how Christian Laettner was when he was with Duke. I hope though when he gets to the NBA, he doesn't have the same career Christian Laettner had, because you know how that panned out. But that's who he reminds me of. I think Duke is winning the championship because this man is everything, and so yeah, I think he could stand the hype. He's a dog. He's a beast.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And don't forget, Christian Laettner is a former Wizard, so there's that connection there. Absolutely. Yeah. So, AB, what you thinking, man? You think that Cooper Flagg can bring that championship trophy to the 202?
Just emphasize everything that J Hip just said. You know, I just Cooper Flagg right now, I mean, number one prospect in the college basketball. Was number one before the season started, number one throughout the season, is number one still now. And I think that Duke's going to win the title. And again, he's the best player on that team. He was a dog in high school, and he reclassed a year early. Some guys reclass a year to stay more in high school. He decided to go to college early. To me, that's insane. The upside defensively, the scoring on all three levels. I mean, the length and everything he checks off all the boxes. He's a winner. If you're at pick number one, you don't even, once you win that draft lottery, if you're the Wizards front office, you don't even have to worry about who you're taking with that first overall pick. Just move on to the other couple of draft picks in the draft, because Cooper Flagg is that guy. I think he's box office, and he's going to pan out, and a superstar in my eyes, and top 5 player in the league within the next couple of years.
No, I agree with both you gentlemen, and I've said it all year long, man. You're not going to know what you have in a lot of these prospects till you get to the NCAA tournament. Kind of like, what Jay Hip said, man. That's where the lights are the brightest in college. I mean, if you look at the schedule of most teams, man, especially your Power 5 conferences, man. I mean, your first 5-10 games are against teams like Monmouth, and then against Monmouth. I'm just kind of throwing that as an example, but the NCAA tournament is where the lights are the brightest. Is where you see these guys can be clutch if they can operate where where the game matters. You know what I mean? So I agree that, Cooper Flagg is box office. And like I said all the time, this is a loaded draft. This top 5, period. I mean, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson, the list goes on. This is a loaded draft, man. And I know there's a lot of people are like, all right, what do we fall to 5? I think we're still good. But getting back to the point with Cooper Flagg, he's got it, man. He's got all the intangibles, in my opinion. He's a two-way player. He can defend, he can score, he can hit from mid-range, he can hit from 3, he can score in the paint. He hits all the boxes. But I will say this, and it's going to kind of get into a question I'm asked both you gentlemen, is that a lot of people are putting a little hype on him. And there's a lot of expectations that he's going to have an immediate impact in year one. And I think that he will have an impact, but not the impact that people think they're going to have, because he still needs to be developed. He's 18 years old, and he is far from being a finished product. And so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to start with AB. Do you think there's a little too much hype surrounding him, and do you think he's ready for that hype?
I think so. Again, there's a lot of hype, but again, you are the number one player at Duke. Okay. A lot of people will say, "Oh, look at the last number one player from Duke, Zion Williamson." Well, Cooper Flagg, his weight wasn't really a problem going into this draft, and Zion, it was somewhat of a concern, blowing that shoe out. a sneaker out, which was to me. This I was watching a documentary the other day. That's crazy that he did that. How much it affected the Nike sports world, but that's besides the point. Zion Williamson is he's another head case. We could spend hours talking about him in New Orleans in that situation. But we're talking about Cooper Flagg. Hopefully, the future Wizard here, the guy's going to lead us to a championship. I just think the hype is that's what makes the superstars because even before the hype, they go out there and they perform. And Cooper Flagg, I'll keep seeing it checks off all the boxes, and you maybe can pan out one or two weaknesses, but again, you're just reaching at that point. And I just think he's going to come out of this draft being the best player, and I think it's going to be by a wide margin.
Yeah, my man AB had to bring up him blown out of tires. What do you think, J Hip?
Man, when I look at Cooper Flagg, I see in my eyes future Hall of Famer. Here's the thing: what I like about Cooper Flagg, he looks like he works hard at his craft.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about him is this: if you look at Duke, it's not just him. They have the 7-foot guy from Sudan, Tyrese Proctor, right? So they have a whole team. And what I've seen Cooper Flagg do is play within the team, but also be that go-to scorer that could drop 30 points like he did against whoever they played before in the Sweet 16, right? He went and scored 30, but then in the game in the Elite Eight that sent him to the Final Four, he only scored 16, which means he played within the team in the team as a team player. You know, so when you need him to play as a team player, he could do that.
Yeah.
But when you need him to be that dog and be that 30-point scorer, he could do that. And that's what makes him, that's what's going to make him scary. So I hope the Wizards get him.
No, I mean, you both bring up great points. And the points that I really like that you guys brought up is the stuff behind the scenes, right? Is he coachable? Is he willing to work? You know what I mean, you brought up Zion. The talent's there for Zion, but he's not willing to invest himself off the court. And that is the biggest thing holding him back. That if he would have prioritized his body, Zion is a top 5 player in this league. I think we all can agree with that. It's just the small things. Are they coachable again? You know, are they willing to work it all season? You know, 2 guys who got better this year in Bilal Coulibaly and Jordan Poole, they put the work in. You know, a lot of players they want to go on vacation. And I always reference The Last Dance, where you know the Bulls could never get past the Pistons, man. And then the last year, the first year underneath Phil Jackson, they lost the Pistons. And what did they do? They got into the gym. They started working. That's where the real work begins, man. Is the off season. It ain't game 1 of the regular season. It's not training camp. The real work starts when the off season starts. Are you willing to invest in yourself? Are you willing to put time and money into your body? Are you willing to improve your game and deficiencies? Ben Simmons could never develop that jump shot. He was not willing to invest in himself. And look at him. You know, he's a guy where I think we all can, you know, agree that if Ben Simmons would have developed a jump shot, he's probably still leading the way in Philadelphia. And he's probably, I mean, he had that talent. It's just the little things. So I agree with that when it comes to Cooper Flagg, which is a lot of hype. Now, is the hype bigger than LeBron would come in the league? No. You know, Kobe didn't carry the same amount of hype that LeBron did. MJ, let's be real. I mean, the most hype, you know, once you go back, you get into a lot of these iconic names, man. There's always been hype around that perspective of number 1 overall pick. Now, this previous draft was very weak. Nobody knew it was going to be Alex Sarr, was it going to be Reece Sachet, Stephon Castle. But again, this is a loaded draft. So I agree with both of you, gentlemen. I think that when you evaluate, it's not so much of the talent. Yeah, you kind of want to see what the guy could be down the road, but are they willing to learn? Are they willing to get better? Are they willing to work? You know, do I have to babysit them? And that's the biggest thing with, you know, the NBA is that this is the business. This is the job. And when you look at certain players, man, you have to kind of babysit some players now, man. And so that's a real concern with a lot of teams now. Are they willing to invest themselves? Are they willing to put the work in without me having to tell them to do so? And again, it goes back to Zion Williamson, man, where you literally have to tell the guy not to eat. And I get it. It's New Orleans, man. Look, if I was living in New Orleans, man, you got to roll me around in a wheelbarrow. I mean, I get it. The cooking is good, but still, man, I mean, this is a job. And you got to look at guys who want to prioritize their job and what they have to do, not only on the court, but off the court. So great points, guys. Let's get into VJ Edgecombe. Is he underrated? And if the Wizards fall into the top 5, should they definitely consider drafting him? I'm going to say yeah. But before we get into that, tonight's episode is brought to you by Prizepicks. Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. Because with Prize Picks, you pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, and if you're right, you can win up 1,000 times your cash. It's that easy. Come on now. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, come on now. Talk to us, Baltimore Orioles. Prize Picks keeps every game exciting. Like I said, Prize Picks is my go-to. I love the stat projections. I love trying to guess. Looking at how many points does he average over a week? They give you all the information you need to make informed decisions that actually get your money. Like I said, out of all the apps I've dealt with, to me, the easiest to make money is Prize Picks. It's that easy. So do yourself a favor, guys. Download the app today and use promo code Locked On NBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Locked On NBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, let's move on. So, VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor, man. He is starting to move up in draft boards. And like you both gentlemen kind of alluded to, and it's something I've been kind of saying over the course of the season, which is as the NCAA season comes and goes, people will rise and fall. And once you really go through the NCAA tournament, you're going to see guys who you looked at one point were top 5 picks are probably in the teens. So, like I said, you're going to see a lot of guys start really rise up the boards. Derek Queen's one guy. Another guy's VJ Edgecombe. So before I get your take real quick, AB, I'm going to go over real quick over his intangibles real quick. So he's 6'5", 180 pounds with a wingspan of 6'6". But looking at his strengths, he's got the speed and the leaping ability. He reminds me a lot of AJ Johnson as far as his athleticism and his explosiveness. So he's a guy who can definitely play. And if you're looking at, like I said, when you look at the depth of guard we have in the team, Jordan Poole, Bob Carrington, AJ Johnson, could they still add a guard with this Dylan Harper or a Trey Johnson or even a VJ Edgecombe? Yes. So I'm going to start with you real quick, AB. VJ Edgecombe, in your eyes, is he underrated? And if the Wizards indeed wanted to draft him, where do you see his place on this team long term?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you talk about the intangibles, how athletic he is, athletic freak. I'm looking at NBA draft. I know NBA comparison, obviously, Russell Westbrook might be a little bit of a stretch, but no, his explosiveness, his quick first step is definitely something that is intriguing. And again, we'll document whatever this crew decides to do. I have full faith and they know what they're doing. I will say, though, I'm looking at some of the weaknesses. They bring up the whole 3-point percentage. I will say, though, I was a big fan of Johnny Davis, and he was athletic freak coming out of Wisconsin. The 3-point shot was concerning. I'm not comparing the two, but again, like it is a little concern where you're a guard and 3-point shooting is a weakness, especially as size like 6'4", 6'5", like I mentioned. It's not the tallest guy out there, but at the end of the day, if you truly think that a guy like him with his caliber could fit here in DC, it just goes back to what they want to do with this whole scenario of these young guys that we have here. So we're going to have Kobe Jones. We're going to have AJ Johnson. We're going to have Jordan Poole. You have Bob Carrington. Do you really think you want to bring in another guy that can compete? Why not? If you think he can be that guy to beat out those guys, but if there's other needs on this team, maybe prioritize those positions over a guard. But again, VJ is a very intriguing prospect, and it's going to be interesting to see where he lands as upcoming draft.
Okay, I can rock with that. Jay Hibb, what you thinking, man? I think you might be on pause, brother. Well, we'll go ahead and give you a second, man. There we go.
Gotcha. All right. Can you hear me? All right, good.
Yes, sir.
I apologize for that.
No, you're good.
I love VJ Edgecombe. I don't think we should compare him to Johnny Davis.
Okay.
VJ Edgecombe is athletic from what I've seen. Did you see when Bahamas played in the Olympics?
Yeah.
I don't think it was the Olympics, but it was the tryouts, right?
Yeah, it was FIBA.
He was a bucket getter. He was better than what's my guy from Golden State? He was better than him, Buddy Hield. He was better than Buddy Hield. I love his athleticism. I think if you get VJ Edgecombe, I like the tandem of here's the lineup. Look at this. You have Jordan Poole at point guard. You have VJ Edgecombe at your 2. You have Bilal Coulibaly at your 3. And then your 4, you could, I don't know who's going to play the 4, but Alex Sarr, I like him at the 5. I really like Alex Sarr at the 5. That's a lineup. VJ Edgecombe And Bilal Coulibaly as your wings, that's scary athletic. And I wouldn't worry about his 3-point shot. Another thing I love about VJ Edgecombe, just like Cooper Flagg, I believe he's a dog. You know why? He from Brooklyn, New York. The Brooklyn boys, they different. Yeah. So I love VJ Edgecombe. And I don't think he's underrated. I think he's right where you expect him. When I saw Dylan Harper declare for the draft, and they put up the list of names, the top 5, and he's number 4. VJ Edgecombe is number 4. And I think that's where that's where he needs to be. I think he's the 4th best player coming out. But man, I love the sound of VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah, I mean, I am a fan of VJ Edgecombe, man. I think he can definitely play. The athleticism definitely wows me. Like you said, he's explosive. You know, when you combine him, Jordan Poole, and Bilal, you would have an explosive, athletic squad, man, who can eat in transition. But I would be lying if I didn't say that I am concerned about the 3-point shot. Not that I don't think he can develop that shot, is that I think that we need another scorer who's a legit scorer. And when you look at the modern day NBA, you need that 3-point shooter, man. I mean, like you said, you put him in the lineup with Bilal, man, you're expecting Bilal to take that next step. And like I said, I fully believe that he will, but I can't have 2 risks. You know what I mean? Like I can't have 2 guys where I'm hoping that they figure out their shot, because if they don't, then you got 2 guys who haven't figured out their shot. You know what I mean? So I agree. I do like VJ Edgecombe, man. I think he's a baller. I think he's a dog. I think he's explosive. I mean, I think he can definitely eat in transition. Like I said, I definitely want to see, you know, the pre-draft process, see if he's working on that shot, see if he puts that work in. If the shot is much improved, absolutely. You know, if the shot's not quite there, I am hesitant, because like I said, you know, we're expecting Bilal to take the next step. But like I said, there's a risk that he won't. And I think he will. Like I said, just from the body of work, just from knowing Bilal, man, you know, he's a work ethic guy. He's going to work his tail off in all season. So I fully expect he's going to have that year 3 leap. So that's kind of where I'm at. And, you know, I can't add too much risk, man, because, you know, I need a surefire score. We need to take some pressure off of JP13, man. Like right now, you know, Alex Sarr has played better, but we don't have that consistent second or third score right now. You know, one game, Bub steps up, or, you know, this guy steps up. The next game, this guy steps up. We need a legitimate scorer who's going to take the pressure off JP13, because I think that, and this was a question that came up in the previous episode, which is, you know, how do we get reinforcements of JP13 if he indeed is a long-term piece? And I think there's 2 ways. Number one, you got to grab the guy in his draft. Even though I think you can get 2 high-impact guys. You know, you mentioned power forward. I think they trade back in. Now, it's going to cost them because this is a loaded draft. And if you look at the weak draft, the previous draft was a weak draft, it still cost us Denny Avia to move back into the lottery. So this draft, the move back into the lottery in a loaded draft, is going to cost us a player and some picks. But if Will Dawkins has no problem doing that, and I have all the confidence in the world in him to make the right decision, I definitely think they can trade back in to the lottery and get that power forward. So we're going to talk about that power forward, and I got eyes on Asa Newell out of Georgia. It's not because I'm from Georgia, or I was born in Georgia. I'm from VA, but you know, I'm a little biased with Georgia boys, man. But like I said, I think that Asa Newell could be the prospect to look at in the later stages of the first round. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? All the time. Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. No, it's so much more. It's a complete financial command center. It's like the Pentagon of all your money. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So you stop just managing money and start building wealth. And if you're like myself, who wants to take that next step, and whether that next step is a house or a business or investing or just investing in yourself or becoming more financially responsible, this is Monarch Money has everything you need to be more responsible and definitely help get you on the right track when manage your money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. All right, guys, before we call it a night, like I said, if they trade back into the lottery, or if certain prospects do fall to the Wizards in the later stages of the first round, because obviously it is dependent on the Memphis Grizzlies. Could fall as low as, I believe the last time I saw was 18. Could go up as high as 28, 30, depending on what Memphis does. But Also knows the guy I'm looking at. And looking at the current mock draft, and this is through NBADraftRoom.com, they have him at number 14 at Atlanta. And some names around him at 13. The Mavs have Kaman Maluk, the guy you were trying to talk about, Jay Hip, the center out of Sudan. And then some other names around between 14 and 20. Igor Demine, they got fallen to Indiana 19th. Nolan Traore out of France to the Wolves at 18. And Liam McNeely, the sharpshooter out of UConn, to the Spurs at 16. So before I get your take real quick, Jay Hip, I'm going to go through the intangibles real quick with Asa Newell. 6'11", 220 pounds. So he's got the body to play power forward, in my opinion. Now, some things he does well. He's efficient. Offensively, he's efficient. Defensively, versatile. He's athletic. He's got that high motor, and he's a rim runner and finisher. Now, concerns they do have for him real quick is a slight frame. He is 6'11", but 220. Maybe you can gain about 10, 15 pounds if he really wants to go against guys like Bam Adebayo. Rebounding, he needs to be more consistent, not only with rebounding, but with free throw shooting and three-point shooting. So, all right, Jay Hip, I noticed you're not too much of a fan of Asa Newell, man. So why are you kind of low on Asa Newell? And if the Wizards decided to go in that direction, where do you think that he could kind of slot at?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen. I don't think I'm on the hype train with Asa Newell. I think he's a very good player, but I don't know. I needed to see more.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Derek Queen is higher up draft board because he'd be who I go get. Or I don't know. Asa, what's his name? Asa Newell.
Yes, sir.
He just I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me. Like I said, great player, but I don't know. I'm not on that hype train. Somebody who I do like is my guy out of Auburn, Johnny. What's his name? Johnny Broom.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I'm big on him too. Yeah, I like him.
And he's seasoned. But Asa Newell, I don't know. I mean, the athleticism is there. I could see that, but I don't know. I'm not impressed.
You know what? I'm with you. And it's the same reasons that I kind of outlined with VJ Edgecombe, which is risk. You're hoping that he develops that shot because we all know that the name of the game in the NBA is what? Versatility and be able to shoot the three-point shot and play defend multiple positions. So the athleticism is there. Is the shot going to be there? So I'm with you on that, man. But with him being a later stage of the first round type of pick, I think I'm more willing to go with a risky pick in the later stages of the first round than in the lottery. Because lottery, man, when you draft somebody in the lottery, there's full expectations that they're going to be a starter or they're going to be a contributor. So that's kind of where I'm at. AB, what you thinking, man?
So it's kind of crazy because we talk a lot about how Alex Sarr needs to put on some muscle, but it could be a scenario where we talk about Bilal and VJ, where you have two guys that might not take the offensive step. Then if you get Sarr and Asa Newell here, and they both lack that size and physicality, we're going to get out rebounded again by a lot of teams that we talk about. He brought up Bam Adebayo. He'd have been bullying the Wizards this year in the paint, and a lot of other teams as well. So if that size isn't there, and again, if Alex Sarr doesn't put it on, it might affect at least these next couple of years when it comes to rebounding. And again, we emphasize it so much. Defensively, we want to get more physical and just stop letting teams beat us off the glass. So maybe the potential is there. As of right now, I just don't know if it's worth it. Again, you talked about how it might taking a risk outside lottery. So I'm okay with that. But your guy Wolf out of Michigan, if he's there, I prefer him over Asa because again, he was a guy that he can take it off the dribble. He can move. He moves like a guard at 7 foot. Like after you mentioned it to me, I really like his game. So it's just gonna be interesting to see how this draft pans out. And obviously, I'm rooting for the guy. He is young, but at the end of the day, you don't want two problems, and especially when they're two young guys on your team.
Look, you already mentioned Danny Wolf. I mean, I'm rolling with Danny Wolf, man. He screams Jokic 2.0. I'm trying to tell you, with his ability to put the ball on the floor, the vision for his size, the three-point shooting, the mid-range. Look, I made it known early in the process, man, that if he is available, you draft Danny Wolf. And then, like I said, kind of going to that point, we can kind of slide off at Asa Newell real quick. And before we do, like I said, Asa Newell, the athleticism there, the intangibles are there. It's just, like I said, is shooting going to be there, and I think that they're going to be more willing to take that risk with a later stage first round pick than in the lottery. But let's slide into who we were just talking about, man. Danny Wolf, man. I think that I'm gonna get your take, J Hip, because I know both of you guys are fans like I am. I think you definitely grab him, and if he's out of your range with a later stage, you trade back in to get him. I think there's anybody you trade back in to get is Danny Wolf, because, like I said, he is Nikola Jokic 2.0. What is it about his game that you like, J Hip?
Just like AB said, I like how he could put the ball on the floor. He's 7 foot.
Yeah,
puts the ball on the floor like a guard. Man, this guy's skill set, yeah, he's just like Jokic. Now, I don't want to put that pressure on him because we know what Jokic is. So let's not do that to the guy yet. You know what I mean? Let's let him develop into the player that he's going to be. But that skill set, him and Sar, 7 foot giants that could put the ball on the floor. Yeah. Man, it's like if you have them and you start them, pick your poison. Yeah. You know, because you got 2 7-footers that could put the ball on the floor, shoot from the outside, go inside. It's going to be dangerous.
Absolutely. And keep in mind that we often talk about versatility. Alex Ark played a 4 and a 5. Tristan Vucevic can play the 4 to 5. So I'm all about competition. Nobody's position is set in stone right now. And I kind of put this in the article that I put out on SI today, man, which is, I think to a lesser degree, this team has gotten comfortable. I think that they don't view, they know that they're young, they're unproven, they have a lot of rope, they have a lot of leniency when it comes to making those mistakes. But I think they need to get back into the mentality that nobody's won the spot yet. I mean, me and AB have already made it known that every young prospect they have on this team or could prospectively have on this team, when it's all said and done, is not going to be part of the team long term. Already, we have 5 draft picks on the Real Doggers. You have 2 first-round picks in 2025, 2 first-round picks in 2026, and then like 60 second-round picks and pick swaps for Phoenix, man. Like you have the capability to have a lot of young talent, but the thing is, you can't pay everybody. I mean, every young prospect we have is not going to be part of the future. We're still evaluating. So I kind of want to see them get hungry again. Because the 162, they gave up 162 points. Then the previous game, man, where they were able to do whatever they want. I mean, the defense was non-existent. The defense was in the hotel room. I mean, get back to being hungry. Getting back to playing hard, playing to win. That's kind of where I'm at. So Danny Wolf, like I said, and getting back to the point what I'm making with that is, I'm not against bringing competition. Bring another 7-footer in. Danny Wolf, competition. Look, I like Tristan Vucevic, but let him know that, look, nothing's set in stone yet. You need competition. And look, that's a good problem to have, having 3 7-footers, every one of them can stretch the floor. I'm just saying, man, like every one of them can defend, lock down the paint, and shoot from 3. And you got 3 of them, man, that's a good luxury to have for a team like the Washington Wizards, man, because again, that gives you capabilities if you want to keep all 3. And then when one comes to you want to flip one, you got the modern day big man that has shown that he can hold his own at the highest level. So this is a win-win for his front office. And like I said, I have all the confidence in the world in his front office because this is not Tommy Shepard. This is not Ernie Grunfeld. You've got adults in the building. You've got a legitimate front office, man. Michael Winger, Will Dawkins, Travis Schlenk. I mean, the list goes on, man. This is we finally have competency in the front office. So, like I said, we covered a lot tonight, guys. So before we roll, I'm gonna ask AB, man, you got anything else you want to cover real quick, man?
Nah, man. Again, we talked about it. We keep emphasizing options. That's what we have in DC. And for so long, as Wizards fans, that advanced since 2014, haven't had that. 3 athletic bigs on this that can stretch. That's insane to me. I grew up with the Marcin Gortats of the world, the Jason Smiths of the world. I love them. But 3 of those, the 3 athletic guys that can stretch the floor with a guy like JP, who is going to be an all-star next year. I already said it. And Brandon, we mentioned it a lot. It's going to be scary to see. And then that year 4, we expect playing. It's going to be exciting. This Wizards team is going to be very exciting. And again, those pick swaps with Phoenix, it's not talked about now, but in the future, it will be.
Absolutely. I'm trying to tell you, the future is bright in the 202. Just stay tuned. Put your seatbelt on, man, because it's going to be a ride. The work has just started. So, Jay Hip, man, appreciate you coming on tonight, man. It was definitely a pleasure, man. You. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, hey, man, where can people catch you, man? Because obviously you know what you're talking about, man. Where can we catch you?
You could catch me on Instagram at John_Hipkins. Facebook is just my name, John Hipkins. Gotcha. I post all the time when the Wizards are playing. I post, yeah, we have a game today. I'm ready. Let's go. I do the same thing on my Facebook. From time to time again, I might write something about the Wizards, what I think. I love the Wizards. I've been a Wizards fan since they were the Bullets. Yeah. Since they had Michael Adams, Calbert Chaney, and Tom Gugliotta, Rex Chapman, and all them boys, George Mirasan. So that's when they were playing at the Capitol Center in Landover.
Yeah.
My first game.
Yeah.
And, hey, like that. I just showed you my age right there. But yeah, my first Washington Bullets game, I think they played the Knicks. I was in elementary school. It was like 93, 94. They played the New York Knicks when the Knicks had Patrick Ewing. So I remember going there. I said, that's my team right there. Even though we weren't good, I was like, that's my team. That's who I'm rolling with. So, been a fan ever since. Love the Chris Webber years.
Oh, yeah.
I think we got rid of him too soon. I would say this real quick. I apologize for.
No, you're good, man. Long, preach.
I would say this. I love this front office.
Yeah.
This is not the front office that got rid of Chris Webber in his prime.
Yeah.
This is not the front office that got rid of that. Larry Hughes never should have left.
No.
He should have.
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying? That's not that front office. We have a different front office. If you think about it, that front office came from winning organizations and helped put those organizations together. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I trust this team. I hope we get the first pick. I want Cooper Flagg.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We need that. We need DC. We're Washington, D.C. We need that face in the NBA, right? We deserve that, right? But I trust this front office. Even if we don't get the number one pick, I trust that they're going to get the right player. And I know whoever they get is going to be a high IQ guy and a guy that works. If it's anybody like Bilal, you saw the videos of the work he put in, right? And you see he's just getting better. He has more work to do, but he's getting better. That lets you know he works. I trust his front office. Sky's the limit, man. I'm excited. It don't look good now, but it's going to look good soon.
Oh, yeah, man, you took me back, too, man. I've been a Bullets fan since day one, man. I mean, I believe we're around the same age, man, because 93, oh, man, come on, that Rod Strickland, oh, that's my guy. You can look at other mistakes. Rod Strickland, I mean, they should have never sent Chris Webber to Sacktown for Mitch Richmond. That was a terrible move, man. We should never got rid of Ben Wallace. We should never got rid of Rip Hamilton.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I like Jerry Stackhouse, but, yeah.
Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, come on. I mean, we've had so much talent here, man. And when you look at so many misses we've had in the draft, we could have had Stephen Curry. We could have had Klay Thompson. We could have had Kawhi Leonard. Come on, man. I mean, I'm with you. So that's a whole
this isn't a big move, and this is for me because I didn't watch back in the day. But when the Wizards traded for Trevor Ariza and they traded Kelly Oubre, that was mind-boggling for me because Kelly Oubre was so young at the time and Trevor Ariza was so old. That's just like stuff like that. It's just, and then giving Jan Mahimi that contract. It's just a lot of hoopla, man.
There was one game Trevor Ariza dropped 40.
Yeah.
I'm like, you get rid of him? Come on.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. So, like I said, matter of fact, that's a good reason to bring you back on the show, man. We're gonna go back in the past. We're gonna talk about some Wizards mistakes, man. Sound like a deal? Let's get it, man.
Hey, I'm all for it.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and call it a night. But like I said, hey, J Hip, appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on here and chop it up with us, man. We'll definitely have you back on the show, man. So like I said, if you ain't got nothing else, AB, we're gonna call it a night. Now, tomorrow night was a back-to-back Wednesday and Thursday night. Both are 7:00 tip-off. So we will be going live 9:30 both nights. So definitely rock with us over here at Locked On Wizards. And again, I want to thank my special guest tonight, J Hip. Man, like I said, if you don't follow him, you need to because he knows what he's talking about. Come on now. All right, everybody. Hail to Wizards and peace.